Hey guys, we're back with another video. This is going to help you out with Category C, Stage 1 on IXL. This is called Angle Vocabulary, and it's high school geometry. Let's take a look at some vocabulary. What is an angle? An angle is the amount of turn between two straight lines that have a common endpoint, or two rays. What is a degree? A degree is the measurement of the opening. And what is a vertex? The vertex is where the two rays are going to meet. What does an angle look like? Well, an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. This is an acute angle, that's an acute angle, and so is that. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. You'll notice that in all three of these examples, there is a box in the intersection that represents the 90-degree angle. What does an angle look like? Well, an obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees. So this is greater than a 90-degree right angle, and so is this. A straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. That's a straight angle, and so is that. How do you classify angles? Well, if a picture is given, observe how much the angle is open. If a number is given, compare it to a right angle. If it is less than 90 degrees, it's an acute angle. If it's more than 90 degrees, it's an obtuse angle. If it's exactly 90 degrees, it's a right angle. And if it's a straight line, it's a straight angle. Example number 1. Is the angle acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Since that's more than 90 degrees, that's an obtuse angle. This one is less than 90 degrees, so that must be an acute angle. That one is a straight line, so we're going to call that a straight angle. And this one right here has a 90-degree corner, making it a right angle. What we just did there is called classifying angles. Looking good, my brother. How do you name angles? There are 3 different ways to name an angle. Option number 1 is to name it according to its vertex, and that way you only have to use one letter. Option number 2 is to name it by its endpoint, vertex, and other endpoint. And option number 3 is to go in the reverse order, naming it by its endpoint, vertex, and endpoint, but in the opposite order. Example number 2. Name the angle 3 different ways. One name you could call this is angle B, because that's the vertex. You could also call this angle ABC. What I did is I started at the endpoint A, and then I worked my way down to the letter B, and then I worked my way over to the letter C. That's one way of doing it. And another way would be angle CBA. We're starting at the endpoint and then just going in reverse order, going from the C to the B and then up to the A. You're welcome. How do you measure angles? Well, you could use a protractor. Decide if it's an acute or obtuse angle. Choose between the 2 numbers and pick the reasonable answer. Example number 3. Find the measure of the angle below. Is it acute or obtuse? Well, it's acute. Well, the protractor is pointing at either 40 or 140. If you take a look right here, it's either a 40 or a 140. Well, because it's acute, we're going to rule out the fact that it's 140, and we're going to go with 40. And it's just that easy. Example number 4. Let's estimate the measure of this angle within 15 degrees. Well, ask yourself, is this acute or obtuse? Well, it's acute because it's less than 90 degrees. Is it more or less than 45 degrees? 45 degrees would kind of like be the halfway point. Well, it's pretty close to 45 degrees. So if we had to estimate, we would probably say that this is about 50 degrees. Example number 5, our final example. Estimate the measure of this angle within 15 degrees. First, ask yourself, is this acute or obtuse? Well, obviously it's obtuse, which means that it's between 90 and 180 degrees. More than 90, but less than 180. It's between those two. Now, halfway between 90 and 180 is 135. So, is it more than 135 or is it less than 135? It's pretty close to 135. So let's estimate this and say that it's about 130. Bzzz, be careful. A common mistake students make when naming angles is they go out of order. They might come up with an answer of angle BAC or angle CAB. Don't do that. Remember, you can trace your finger on the line to find the name. And our math joke of the day, never argue with a 90-degree angle, because it's always right. Get it? It's a right angle and it's 90 degrees. Oh, I know, bad joke. But hopefully you learned something from today's video, and that kind of offsets the fact that that was such a terrible joke. Our next video is going to be about complementary and supplementary angles. We'll see you then. See ya!